the ruling hierarchy.
I was using savage as a noble term, by the way.
Yes, oh yes, well, yes, okay, but actually it's very mild, you know, because you can't say the real stuff, because nobody would believe it. I mean, how do you explain that there is a country which has become the world's largest exporter of heroin, while at the same time returning to religious principles of a very extreme kind? And one of the justifications that is advanced for this is that the Quran does not ban heroin. You know, it bans booze, so you can't drink a glass of beer. And they've closed down the couple of very good breweries that there were. But you can, you know, get into the heroin industry. And there are large numbers of soldiers, of high-up figures in the military who are making a killing out of heroin with the help of some of the richer of the Afghan refugees. I mean, that's, you know, this is simple truth, but to say that a country which can be simultaneously godly, I mean, the same people, you know, who can talk about the high moral virtues of Islam, will be the people who are pushing heroin around the streets. You know, it's kind of much more extreme than anything in my book.
You began as an actor, didn't you?
Yes, well, I mean, that's a glorified thing to say. I mean, what I did at Cambridge was to act a lot, more than anything else. And when I left Cambridge, I went on for a while on the Fringe in Kennington, a nice place called the Oval House. But I acted in order to discover that I couldn't act, really. And it was a very exciting time on the Fringe then, you know, because there were all these people who are now kind of household names who were just starting sort of upstairs in pubs and things, and so all around you there were people of considerable ability, and what was clear was that I wasn't as good as them. So I stopped after about a year, also because I didn't have any money, and got a job. And
what was that job?
This was, I'm afraid, the enemies of promise route. This was advertising. But I mean, what happened was that somebody else, I mean, who shall be nameless and who is now quite a well-known playwright, who was also in this theatre group, got a job at J. Walter Thompson. And he rang me up and said, look, you know, you should try this because they give you lots of money and it's very easy. It doesn't take your time up very much. So I thought that sounded good, you see. And I went along and I got what they call a copy test at J. Walter Thompson, which I failed. They make you do this under exam conditions. It's the last exam that I've ever done. You sit there for 3 hours and write ads under exam conditions. And one of these, which I've never forgotten, was the question said, imagine that you meet a Martian who can speak English, but who doesn't know what bread is. Tell him in not more than 20 words how to make a piece of toast. You see, I completely failed this question. So I didn't get the job, and eventually I did get a job at a much more menial sort of advertising agency, where I worked for a while. And, eventually I was able to